Good morning. Good morning. Gosh, get my breath all over this. Good morning. I'm so honored to be here and get to share this sacred time with you all. As I told you last week, it was my first time as the platform assistant, and this week it is my first time giving a Sunday talk. So, be gentle. When Emila approached me and asked me if I was interested in giving a Sunday talk, I had to say I had to think about it. After all, I've never given a talk before, but I'm a good public speaker. I've been an actor for 31 years. I have no trouble with other people's words, but what about my own words? So, one day while I was alone in the chocolate shop that I work at, stirring the caramel, I thought about it. And the first thing that came to my mind was, what do I have to offer? And then it struck me. That was the talk. What do I have to offer? Isn't that the question we ask ourselves? What do I have to offer? Am I worthy? Am I good enough? Who am I to do what I've always dreamed of doing? In Unity, we are told that we are good, that we are one with God, that we are perfect exactly as we are. But do we believe it? As a Unity chaplain, I can know that for you. I've taken the annual training and the monthly workshops for the last 6 years. I was taught to know the truth for another, to know that their highest good is already here, and to know and hold the highest possibility, knowing that nothing is impossible through God within you. Isn't that why we have the chaplain program? So that others can know it for you when you are unable to know it or remember it for yourself? So how do I know that for myself? How many of you here have asked yourself whether you were good enough or worthy enough to do something or accomplish something that you've always dreamed of? Raise your hands. Keep them up. Look around the room. Look around the room. You are not alone. Our society is built on the premise that we are not good enough. We're not tall enough, pretty enough, young enough. Our teeth aren't good enough. Our hair needs to be the right color. Our skin is bad. Our eyes need to be the right color. Our weight, our bodies, all bad and flawed so that we will purchase whatever they are selling in order to fix it. So, how do we believe someone like ourselves is good enough or worthy enough to attain our dreams, to be okay with who we are and what we desire? Many of us learned these misbeliefs about ourselves as children. I know I did. As the child of 2 school teachers, I was expected to always be good, never embarrass them, always be on the honor roll, and bring home straight A's. I was expected to be perfect. Mind you, we were never praised for doing these things. They were what was expected of us. We only received feedback or attention when we were less than perfect. One might say that we were taught to be less than in order to receive the attention that we weren't getting by being perfect. So much of these early negative thoughts got stored on tapes in my head, at least for those of us of a certain generation who remember what tapes are. They were cassette. Today they would be digital recordings. But we are not robots yet, so. But you know the ones, those voices you hear in your head whenever you have a moment of hesitation, uncertainty, or doubt. Those voices that come back from the past, especially in the face of change or challenge. Whether they be the voices of a parent, a teacher, a coach, or someone in competition with you, they're the voices that say, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You're going to need a real job when your dream doesn't happen. Why bother? You're not going to get it. There are so many other people out there better than you. Have you heard those voices? I have. I think it starts by recognizing these voices, denying their power over you, and starting the process of recording over them, or in my generation, erasing them. And you may never be able to truly erase them all. I know I haven't. In times of doubt or fear, I still hear some of them. But we are taught in unity we can use affirmations and especially denials to diffuse those voices and remember that they are not the truth of who we are. It's taken me many years to stop believing the voices I hear in my head, but I still hear them. And when I do, I can quote the good witch in The Wizard of Oz and say, "You have no power here, be gone," before somebody drops the house on you. Yes. Wave my magic wand. And we can remind ourselves, as Dorothy learned in Oz, you've always had the power to go back to Kansas. You've always had the power. You've always had the power. That means you have the power now. You have the power within you right now. There is nothing greater than God within you, than Spirit within you, than the eternal spark of life and all that is within you now. My former pastor in Unity of New York, Paul Tenalia, would tell us that everything we say with passion and enthusiasm is a prayer, is an affirmation. So one of the first things I started to do was listen to what I say. Become conscious of the words I speak, and in particular, what I say about myself. I heard myself saying things like, "I'm so stupid. I'm too old. Life's so hard. I can't trust people. I'm always let down. Nobody cares. Why does this always happen to me?" Psalm 18:21 states, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue." Our words have the ability to build up or tear down. Our words can affirm, empower, and uplift our lives, or they can damage, diminish, and even destroy our lives. What kind of words are you speaking? Do you say people are cold, mean, and selfish? Or do you say people are kind, loving, and supportive? Do you speak words about what is good and right in your life? Or do you speak words about what's wrong and negative in your life? Neil Donald Walsh, author of Conversations with God, if any of you have read that, one of my favorite books, says that the worst thing any human being could ever believe is that they have no power to improve their lives. He says, "Nothing is more debilitating, nothing is more weakening, nothing is sadder, and nothing is more inaccurate. The truth is that we have great power to change and transform our lives." Our words have that power, with none more powerful than the "I am" statement. We need to become conscious of the words we attach to "I am." Too often we say things like, "I'm such a failure. I am so unlovable. I'm so unhappy. I am so tired. I'm just not good at anything." When we could just as easily be saying, "I am loving. I am blessed. I am talented. I am a success. I am an amazing spiritual being. I am strong. I am prosperous." What words are you attaching to your "I am"? In 1886, at a New Thought lecture, our co-founder Myrtle Fillmore heard E.B. Weeks say, "You are a child of God. You do not inherit illness." And it changed her life. She converted it into her own powerful "I am" statement. "I am a child of God and therefore do not inherit sickness." She repeated this to herself every day, in addition to spending 2 hours each day speaking to her body and praising it and calling it good and whole. After 2 years of doing this, she healed her body from tuberculosis. As a Unity chaplain, I loved that, and I modified it for those I was praying with like this: "You are a whole, healthy, prosperous, divine child of God, and therefore do not inherit dis-ease of any kind, whether that be a dis-ease in your physical body or a dis-ease in any of your thoughts. There is nothing to fear ever, for you are one with God. And you can easily make that into your own I am statement. I am a whole, healthy, prosperous, divine child of God. There is nothing to fear ever, for I am one with God. Myrtle was in her 40s, thinking she was going to die of tuberculosis until she changed her mind. She changed her thought and changed her life. Likewise, it is never too late to start believing in yourself. It is never too late to accomplish your dreams. Back at Unity of New York, Minister Paul Tenali would tell us the story of Grandma Moses, who didn't begin her famed career as an American painter until the age of 78, but ended up becoming one of the most famous painters, generating more than 1,500 paintings in 3 decades and living to be 101. Famed chef Julia Child didn't learn to cook until she was in her 40s and didn't star in her first of many television shows until she was in her 50s. Alan Rickman, who played Snape in the Harry Potter films, for those of you who are fans like I am, didn't get his first film role until he was 46. Actress Catherine Houston, who won 2 Emmys for her role as Karen McCluskey on Desperate Housewives. Any other guilty pleasure watching her? Didn't move to Hollywood until the age of 56, and she had to move in with her son in order to become an actress. Singer Susan Boyle was 48 when she was discovered on Britain's Got Talent and became an international star. All of these people were willing to show up and keep doing what they were passionate about. No matter how old they were willing to keep shining their light out into the world, even though it looked like they may never get there. What is holding you back? Is it only your thought that you can't? David Friedman, who spoke here, author of The Thought Exchange, talks about changing your thought, staying with the sensations it brings up, and allowing yourself to start believing the things you want to see in your life. He says, every time we have a thought, it generates a sensation. At this point, we have 2 choices. We can either experience the sensation and stay with the thought we took on, or jump away from the sensation to a different thought. Some call this different thought a sabotaging thought, but that's not really what's going on here. We call this different thought a protective thought because it's taken on to protect you from the sensation you are afraid to experience. He goes on to say, we are not afraid of success. We are not afraid of independence. We are not afraid of being powerful. We are afraid of the sensations that those thoughts generate. For example, when I lived in New York City, I could have the thought that I wanted to go to a Broadway audition, which would then bring up the sensations of fear, of inadequacy. So I might jump to the protective thought that they're looking for someone younger, someone taller, someone better looking. So I end up not going to the audition, which makes me feel bad for not doing what I said I wanted to do in the first place. And we could go round and round in circles this way, never actually achieving what you desire. Because you keep jumping away from the original thought to a protective thought that keeps you less than, which supposedly keeps you safe. The fear of the unknown, the fear of judgment, the fear of owning your power, the fear of actually achieving your dreams and not being able to play the victim any longer, all keep us from being who we want to be. These fears are the only things that are keeping us back. And why do these fears have power over us? Because we give them that power. As David's partner, Sean Moniger, likes to say, feelings are to be felt. Feelings will not hurt you. They may bring up physical sensations of discomfort or unease, but they are just that, feelings. Let yourself feel whatever feelings come up for you when you hold the vision of yourself you wish to see. We know in Unity that prayers are always answered, but they may not look like what we think they should look like. As for me, I've gone to hundreds of auditions for shows that I wanted but didn't get. So it may seem like my dream did not manifest. But if I look deeper inside at what I truly want out of life, perhaps a Broadway show wasn't it. I remember I was taking a Unity class where we had to write out our life mission statement. And what I wrote that day was, I am a successful spiritual singer. I heal people through music. So things didn't turn out the way I thought they should. But I am doing what I love to do. I never stopped singing. I continued to show up and shine my light. Now, spiritual centers around the country are paying me to share my music with them. I am a successful singer, spiritual singer. I heal people through music. According to the outside world, I thought I had to be on Broadway in order to be successful. But I was willing to let Spirit guide me to a different outcome. I allowed Spirit to move me here to Albuquerque, and I am now singing more and doing more in alignment with that mission statement than I ever had before in New York. My prayers were answered. They just looked different than I thought when I first asked for them. So what have we learned here today? What is the answer to the question, what do I have to offer? To me, the answer is everything. You have everything to offer. Whatever your heart's desire is, that is a God thought, and that is what you have to offer, and it is good. And to me, it has nothing to do with being famous or making huge amounts of money, although we would welcome them and say thank you, God. But our creativity is not based on the outside world's vision of what creativity is. That is not the level of success that is real in any way. Since we believe we are made in the image and likeness of our Creator, we are creators too. Creativity is not just being a writer, a singer, an actor, a painter. Anything you do with joy and passion is creative. You can be a creative hairdresser, a creative plumber, a creative garbage collector. If you show up with joy and excitement in what you do, you are creative and you are shining your light. Be willing to create what your heart desires and then take that first step toward it. There is nothing to lose. Marianne Williamson, in her book, A Return to Love, says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates those around us. I think true success comes down to being willing to show up in your life, denying the negative voices you may be hearing in your head, choosing a new positive thought about yourself, letting your I ams be about how magnificent you are as a divine child of God, letting yourself feel the fear, letting yourself stay with whatever uncomfortable sensations might come up based on the thought you want to achieve, and then doing it anyway. Showing up anyway. The only thought that counts is yours. As I sang here recently in the Martina McBride song, Anyway, God is great, but sometimes life ain't good. And when I pray, it doesn't always turn out like I think it should, but I do it anyway. Remember, things don't always turn out the way we think they should, but they always turn out. Prayers are always answered. Do it anyway. Believe it anyway. Dream it anyway. Never let anyone tell you ever that you are not good enough to have your heart's desire. There is nothing to fear ever, for you are one with God. The light of the world is within you, so let it shine. Let your light shine. Thank you.
Whoa, Bill.